Good morning. Welcome everyone to the latest episode of Sharpen the Saw with the Wise Agent Society at eXp Realty. It's myself, Shay Black, with Tara Andrews, my lovely assistant and master of all things. We are here today to talk about, the topic we're going to talk about today is CRM, basically lead generation, lead conversion, and lead follow-up within your CRM. So it all kind of goes together. So we're going to talk about that today. So let's get right to it. We are going to start with talking about your CRM, because that's kind of where everything starts. We need to, so whichever company you happen to be with, so a lot of brokerages will provide a CRM, and if they don't for some reason, then you need to get one. So step one of being a successful real estate agent is having a CRM and using it every day, and that it's a non-negotiable. So you're just not going to make it if you don't use your CRM. So number one, first thing you need to do is learn how to use a CRM and make it a habit to use your CRM and work within your CRM. And then you just have to know the basic steps and ways to do that. And I have a very simple way to do it. There's also some time blocking, which this also goes into perfect daily schedules and all that, which can be on another show. But for today, we're going to talk about just using your CRM in general, how that should look, and what to do with the leads. First of all, where do you get the leads and where do you put them? And what do you do with the leads after you get them? A couple of just ideas for CRMs if you don't have one. So I happen to have multiple ones. eXp, my company, gives us KV Core with our $85 a month fee that we pay for all the technology, all the training, all the stuff we have. That also includes KV Core, which is used to be a version of Conversion, I believe, which is a really robust CRM. And I believe anybody can have KV Core, and I believe that it's around $500 a month if you just pay for it yourself. So you can do that. There are much less expensive versions and options. One of them is Follow Up Boss. And Follow Up Boss we also use for our California market. We use Follow Up Boss and Ylopo together. Follow Up Boss is one of my favorite CRMs. It's super easy to use, and that's actually what we're going to talk about today. I have more stuff going on site in my Follow Up Boss than I do in my KV Core, although we are transitioning everything to KV Core. I don't have a lot going on in there to show you just yet. So today we'll use our Follow Up Boss, which is connected to Ylopo. It's an amazing system. I super recommend it if you can afford it. KV Core just does most of the same things, and it's free, basically, for me. And for me, I have 3 markets, 3 teams, 3 CRMs, 3 outward-facing websites that connect to the CRMs. So for me to do this at Ylopo Follow Up Boss starts getting into the multiple thousands of dollars a month. So it just makes sense for me to use KV Core, where it just costs me $85 a month, basically. Now, and that's before ad spend. So if you want to do ad spend after that, which is a part of the lead generation that you could pick to do, that's on top of it. So it would cost me multiple thousands of dollars to run Ylopo Follow Up Boss, and it cost, well, that's actually with some ad spend in there. But there's also Ylopo has some other features like AI technology and stuff, which KV Core is coming with. So either way, that's a lot about nothing important right now. The point is you just need to have a CRM, and Follow Up Boss is just super easy to use on your phone. It's also super easy to use online, and that's what you want. You want to be able to use it on your phone really quickly and really easily, because a lot of times you're going to be meeting people live, and you need to be able to put them in your phone, into your CRM, and put them into the process. So like at open houses, or say you're at a networking event, or say you just met somebody at a party, or you met somebody at a bar, you met somebody at a restaurant, you met somebody at church, you met somebody at your work. All of those things, you need to stop what you're doing. So you need to get in a habit of putting the information in your phone. Now, if you can't just do that right away, that's fine. Take excellent notes. Ask lots of questions. Write it all down. Okay, I just can't really push that enough. Everybody just doesn't write things down, doesn't do any of this stuff, and then you're not going to have the results. For me, I went into the top 1% in Las Vegas in a little over a year, maybe a year and a half, and I was a brand new agent. The way I did that was by doing this first. Okay, so I used different scripts at the time. I used Tom Ferry scripts for open houses. So step one, where do I get leads to put into my CRM? We'll talk about CRM too, but where do we get these leads, right? Open house is the number one place to go. That's your number one opportunity to put yourself in front of business. Okay, so do you think people are going to come to your house or at your home office and you're going to run into people that are thinking about maybe one day buying or selling real estate? Chances are pretty slim, right? That they're going to come knocking on your door saying, hey, just wanted to, don't know when, but I think I'm going to buy or sell a house, right? Not going to happen. At your office, are people going to come into your office and just say, hey, I was thinking about buying or selling a house. Is Shay Black around? I want to talk to him maybe, randomly. You got a guy called Shay Black here? No, it's not going to happen. You might have some offices might have some walk-in traffic, but it's very few. And, depending on how your office is set up, some of them do like a round robin thing where they'll give that to people. And sometimes they just give it to the people that they want to give it to. Either way, neither here nor there. Best place to work out of as an office is not your office, at an open house. That's where you should be working. You should be working there 7 days a week. Find open houses, be open houses, do the open houses. Go there, put yourself in front of traffic. Another one is like Starbucks or a park or whatever, but you need to set up a table, put your laptop on it, put a sign on the back of it that says, ask me about real estate, okay? Another quick cool trick you can do is go into a Starbucks, buy $100 gift card, Starbucks gift card, give it back to the cashier and say, I want to buy everybody's drinks until that card runs out. Okay, and then you go sit yourself kind of near the door so that they can cross your path really easily. And they'll say, it's free, why? And they'll be like, that guy over there or that gal over there is buying everybody coffee this night. And they'll be like, oh, that's really nice. And they'll come over and it says, ask me about real estate. So you're just sitting there, ready. And by the way, I have a clipboard. I always have clipboards. I'm always taking notes just to be able to take down information. So their name, number, email address, and phone number. I said that twice, but name, number, email address. Those are kind of the main things. And if you can get their home address, because they might be a seller, all those things are good. That's the 4 things we really want to know. Plus more. So I do have I call it a buyer's questionnaire. I'm happy to share with anybody. I don't know if you can find it, Tara, and put it in the chat. No big deal. We can share that with anybody. And it's a list that I developed over the last 12 years or so that will basically answer pre-qualified people or disqualified people. And you'll get all the information about them in about 7 questions. And there's a lot of details in there that will tell you their time frame, cash, if they're pre-approved, not pre-approved, why they're moving, what exactly they're looking for. And then the questions that I have designed are to also help you. It's a template to build an MLS search. So with this simple 7-question questionnaire, buyer questionnaire that I've made, you get every little piece of information from a buyer that is necessary. And then you can proceed accordingly with that. So step number 1 is ask them all these questions. Now, in these areas, if it's just a quick thing and you don't have a lot of time, then establish a relationship, get their contact information, And then you can, but before you move on to the next part, you go through this questionnaire. Like I've never worked with a person that I didn't go through the whole questionnaire. You can't leave parts out. No, that's not okay. It's like, oh, there are different levels of success. No, there aren't. There's only one. You're either successful or you aren't. So you're either getting people's information so that you can work with them one day, or you're not. So you want to get all their information, fill out this questionnaire. Like I said, it's 7 questions. It's not hard. And then you have everything you need, right? So if you can't go through the questionnaire right then and there, like say at a Starbucks where there's like a lot of people moving and flowing, and you just say, they'll say, hey, thank you, so much. That was very nice of you. You'd be like, no problem. Do you happen to know anybody that wants to buy or sell or invest in real estate? That's what I do full time, all day, every day. And I just love helping people. So you have anybody? And they'll say, well, yes, no, whatever. And, you know what? And then be like, well, great. Can I just take down what's your name and number and email address, and I'll just get in touch with you later. I know you're probably busy and you're going to work. Yeah, okay, great. Sounds good, right? There you go. Maybe you give them a business card. Maybe you have what's it called? Uh, what's that thing called?
QR code.
QR code. Maybe you have that has all of your information on it. We're not in the business of giving our information out. We're in the business of collecting their information. So you've accomplished nothing by giving them your phone number and your information. You've accomplished a little bit, but nothing that you can control. So you want to be able to control your business. So you're professional. You're a professional business person. Professional business people don't do it the other way. You don't just give your phone number out to whoever and expect them to call you. They're not the professional. They're just regular people. They're not going to call you. Maybe they will. Probably they won't. So anyway, you want to keep things in a controllable environment. So get their information. And at open houses, like we were just talking about, is the #1 lead source. So you can do all of your work from an open house. You can take your laptop there. If you don't have a wireless Wi-Fi or you don't have it on your phone, get it. Like that's a non-negotiable. You need to be able to work from wherever you're at. That's how it works. Even when I've had a brick and mortar office, which I don't anymore because they're completely unnecessary, they do have benefits. There's culture, there's vibe, there's fun, there's competition. But you need it 0 to get work done. None at all. Even when I've had a brick and mortar office, I never worked from the office. The office for me is very distracting because I like to talk. I like to help people. I like to do that. So most time when I'm at an office, I am doing that, talking to other people, helping people, and not doing my job, which is lead generating, which is talking to clients, which is finding out clients' goals and timelines so that I can help them achieve their goals. So you need to be mobile. So having a mobile hotspot is a non-negotiable. Of course, if you can't afford that at the moment, that's just going to be your first step to work on: laptop and mobile hotspot. Open houses, all that stuff is relatively free. Open house signs, if you don't have them, borrow them. So you have a list of hundreds or thousands of people that you can borrow that from. So borrow that. Let's see here. Your leads are coming from open house. So you're going to collect all these leads. You're going to have a list. You're going to have an Open Home Pro app. And hang on one second. We're not live, right? Oh, you're muted. But I was just going to say it's. I don't know. It's with both of us on here, but you're just like looking down. So it's not like you're paying attention. So it looks kind of funny. So I don't know.
Remove my camera.
Yeah, that's fine.
You're on a different screen.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, I was just wondering because it looks like you're not paying attention or you're bored or whatever, which is
no.
Not necessarily
Better now.
Yeah, it's better. But I just want to
because you were on a different screen than my camera, so I was looking at that screen instead of the camera.
Yep. No, it's all good. I just don't want people to be like, if both of our faces are on this thing and you're not looking or participating, then it just looks funny. Okay. So anyway, we'll get back to it. So mark that time stamp so we can edit that out. So we get our leads from the open house, then what do we do with them, right? Oh, and then we were talking about you have Open Home Pro or a clipboard where you sign people in. And you can do this at Starbucks, the park, wherever you're doing your lead generation, your prospecting is another word that they say. I like lead generation just because, I mean, they're both the same. So you get all the information, you fill out the buyer questionnaire if you can. If not, that's your first step. So next we go into our CRM, which is what we've been looking at here for a long time. And I don't actively sell real estate right now. I give all my leads away in the markets I work. But we will look at the people that are in here and kind of what to do with them, right? So let's look at, let's see here. This is the Dawn Foster. Okay, so real quickly here, and this might be some bad examples because we haven't been putting in notes for a long time. But anyway, you enter their information into here. You want your name, phone number here, and the email address. Okay, now this one in Follow Boss is going to tell you the stage of the lead, where it came from, why local seller a year ago. The agent is me. The price range is here. So if I think Why Local and Follow Up Boss put a lot of this stuff in for me. We took them out of the AI part, so they're not getting texted automatically. And this tells you time frame, next year or more. They own a home, timeline to move. And you go down here and this is a really cool thing. This tells you, you know, how much listings they're looking at. So another important thing is with a CRM, if you can, and the best ones have a forward-facing website, meaning that they have a website that says whatever your name is or whatever your brand is. So let's just say mine was Shay Black. So it was like shayblackgroup.com, right? Mine's actually blackoutrealty.com, and we also have blackouthomes.com. You go to one of those, and those should be on your business cards, and people can go on there and look for houses on there instead of on Zillow, Redfin, any of those things. You have your own branded site. So at EXP, you get that for free, and then, you know, if you can get your URLs out there, your websites out there to whoever in any way, well, people click on it, they go on, they look at the houses, and then they have to register and they become a lead. So that goes into some funnel stuff, which is one of my favorite things. Anyway, and then it'll start recording the activity they do. So Donna returned to view listings after 14 days of inactivity. So when they do something like that, then it's your cue to get in there and interact with them. You want to see what's up. Like, hey, it looks like you were looking at this house, or, you know, and this one's really cool because this one comes with script ideas, which scripting is super important. So let's just see what they say for a script. Only $2.95. I don't know what that means, but we'll make sure. Hi, John. I see you're shopping for homes on my website. Curious, out of what you see available, anything stand out good or bad? Good. I like large kitchens. Bad. I hate small yards. Okay, good. So this is all good stuff. So another thing is you should have scripts and know lots of scripts. So your mentor, your broker at EXP or wherever, we have tons of scripts. In the Wise Agent Society, our coaching and mentoring and our just general posse, we have tons of scripts, and we can share any scripts you want. We have a little launch scripts that give you all of the main scripts you would want to use in any time. But these are good, little easy ones. Hi, John. I noticed you were looking for in the XYZ zip code. This is for Midway, so they've been looking for a while. Looks like there are a few you missed. Are you set on that neighborhood? I can also send you a few more if so. Yes, great. Is your email XYZ? Also, what time of the day or week is the best time to look at homes? Okay, right. So you're moving them. Basically, you're trying to get them to interact. So a lot of these opening scripts are just getting them to interact because even if you met them at an open house, they're going to forget who you were. They're going to forget all this stuff, and then they just go back to real life. And so you just want to keep in contact with them, which you're going to set that appointment with them before they leave the open house, so that you're just following up with them like you promised them that you would. You and the person agreed, hey, I'm going to follow up with you in a week or so to see how things are going. Does that sound good? And they'll say, yeah, that sounds good. Okay, so you just made an agreement. You promised that you would follow up with them. They said, yes, I would like you to follow up with me. Okay, I promise to do that. Now, if you don't follow up with them, then you're an unprofessional, not good person, right? If you do follow up with them, then you're doing what you said you were going to do, and you're a business professional. That's what business professionals do. So it's important that you do that. So that's part of this whole lead generation, lead conversion, lead follow up, is that you always set the next appointment. You always set the next plan to interact with them in any way. I don't care if it's text, call, email, meet in person, whatever it is. You set that one. So before every time you're talking to them, so you've talked to them now the second time. You met them at open house. Now you're talking to them on the phone. When you said you would follow up with them, you told them you'd follow up with them. And when you did, then you call, you're talking to them. Before you get off the phone with them, then you say, okay, sounds good. They're like, we're still just kind of looking at stuff. We're not sure what we're going to do. Or, what's the first step? And you're like, well, first step is you're going to get pre-approved. Well, actually, the first step is going to go through the questionnaire, right? And then after that, 6 steps, you're going to get pre-approved. You can talk with one of my lenders, one of our preferred lenders, unless you have one of your own, and you need to get a pre-approval or just send us, if you're paying cash, then we just need a page 1 of your bank statement that says your name, the bank, and how much money is in there, so we know how much money you can be approved for. You can blank out any of the statement numbers. We just need to know that it's a legit, current in the date bank statement, page 1 or money market account or whatever. That's step 1. So getting pre-approved one way or the other. And they're like, okay, sounds good. Do you have a lender I can talk to? Yep, I have this person. You can try them, or you can try this one, or this local credit union is great for rates, whatever it is. And then you say, okay, good. Then I'm going to let you go ahead and talk to them. I'll follow up with you on, so let's say this is a Monday. I'll follow up with you on Thursday to just see how it's going. Okay, sounds good. Okay, great. So now we're doing tasks. So let's go into the tasks. So now we've put all their information in. We met them at an open house. And then here's where we're talking to them. Okay, spoke to Donna about getting pre-approved. She is talking to Aaron Gordon and SDCCU, San Diego County Credit Union, let's say. I connected that Aaron and her via text. So you don't just say, here's Aaron's phone number, give him a call. Nope. You say, how would you like me to connect you with my top producing lender, one of my lenders, Aaron Gordon at Guild Mortgage? And they're like, yeah, would you please? Okay, good. I'm going to send a text introduction to you two so you guys can get it figured out. Okay, great. So I don't give them Aaron's phone number. I don't do anything. I connect them so that they're connected and I see it. So then they can all talk to each other from there, and then they can take it offline on their own from there. Remember, we want to keep everything in controllable units. Okay. And then we put, she's interested in the Claremont area and wants to move within a month. Okay, now this is really rudimentary, but we would create this note, but really I would put my questionnaire, the whole thing in there. So I have that in all kinds of formats so that I can just read them all the questions, all 7 questions, and write it down, all the answers next to them. I have this on a note on my phone, so I can do it anytime I talk to a person. I can fill out the questionnaire, and then I text or email it to myself immediately. And if I'm doing it live on my computer or whatever, which is easy, I just copy and paste it right into here as a note, and then I take more notes like this. So we would have more than one note. We're going to have lots of notes. The more notes you have, the better you're going to be at following up and so forth. So let's just say fire questionnaire. Right. Yeah. Here's the thing to keep in mind when you are filling out when you are filling out your notes. So when you're creating notes, you don't write them like you're going to read them later, although you're going to do that too. You need to write notes so detailed and so well that anybody could step in and read your notes, go back and read your notes, and then step in and help you. So let's say you get sick, or you're in the hospital, or you're on vacation, or you're wherever. That doesn't mean that your business should stop unless you're like crazy sick. But I mean, this would allow you to have somebody else step in and continue generating money for you and your family, especially if you're in a really hard time and you're in the hospital and whatever, and you're struggling. Let's say you're on vacation, or you're just a little sick, or you just broke your leg or something like that. If you have your notes written clearly and so well that somebody else could step in and take over, well, then you've done it right. That's what a true professional would do, is have everything so clear that business doesn't stop just because you're not available. So be always thinking bigger. Don't think small, think big. Think of how can I best run my business. And if you write, so you don't want to take too many shortcuts. You want to talk about who. So by the way, so I just screwed that up. So when I do this, I would put Shay spoke to Donna, because how do we know it was me? How do we know it wasn't somebody else on the team? So everybody should put who it is, where they are. And this is just good communication practices. Anytime you're talking to anybody for any reason, be clear, very clear about who, what are we talking about? What's the occasion? What is the event? What is happening? What are we needing? What is specifically? Why we're doing it, and when we're doing it. So be clear. So I always reread my text messages, my emails, all of my things, and I'm like, did I take some shortcuts in there? Because I know what I'm talking about, but do they know what I'm talking about? Always be clear about who, what, why, when, and where. This is also super important for contract writing. So be clear about your communication, reread your stuff before you do it, and make sure you've answered all that. So there's no misinterpreting what you're trying to say to who. Don't leave it up for them to like fill in gaps, because they'll fill it in wrong. And I would do the same. If you don't give all the information, you aren't clear about what you're talking about, stuff will get missed. So we put all this stuff in here, create now, and then we're going to say, I always write it in here, we'll follow up on Thursday at 11 a.m. I mean, he doesn't get any more specific, right? Create note. We'll just do it. Why the heck not? Now we are going to create a task. So over here, so before you move on, this is part of our follow-up and conversion, is that we are going to create a task. So the task is check in. That's fine. Some people hate it when you say check in, but I don't. I do check in with my people and see what they're doing and follow up with them. But I'm specific about my check in. I don't just say, hey, I'm just checking in. How's it going? I say, hey, just checking in. Wanted to see how it went with talking with Aaron. Except I already know, because Aaron called me and told me, like, hey, I spoke to so-and-so, blah, blah, blah. And he's not going to give me any information he's not allowed to. But he'll say, I spoke to him, and, things look good, or things you need to follow up with, whatever. So follow up about, let's just say that, or pre-approval. And we're doing a follow-up. who knows? You can be really specific if you want. But, but the main thing is getting a task in there. You can put in you if you're creating tasks for somebody else. And then we pick the time, right? So we're gonna say Thursday at 11 a.m. Okay. Now create task. So now that task is going to come. So that's why you work on your database every single day. You should, if you only want to do lead generation and prospecting 4 days a week, that's fine. Even 3 days is, I would say that's the minimum. So you can schedule all of those follow-ups and all your conversations for 3 days a week. I suggest that you work in your database almost every single day, because if you stay on top of it and you stay in it, then you only have little things to update. So yesterday I talked to so-and-so, or this morning I talked to so-and-so, whatever. So if you every day just put in your little updates that you need to, then that's going to be good. If you don't, you're just going to miss stuff after a week or whatever, and it just won't be in there. You won't follow up and you won't make money. So that works too. It's whatever you're trying to accomplish there. So just working in your database, but if you want, like spending 3 hours a day, which is what you should be doing on lead generation, lead follow-up, you can do that like 3 days a week or 4 days a week. The more you do, the more money you'll make. So one of my mentors taught me years ago, it's this simple. If you're not getting the results that you need out of real estate, then have more conversations with strangers about real estate. That's it. So that's your job. Your main number one job as a real estate agent is to go find strangers. And I suggest 5 of them a day. And just the minimum question that has to be involved in the conversation is, do you know anybody that's thinking about selling, buying, or investing in real estate? That's it. So how you get there in each conversation is up to you. You can be way more natural than just spitting that out right away, or you just spit it out. That's good too. Have those conversations, and then after you have those conversations, you lead into the buyer's questionnaire. For the seller's appointment, that's just a CMA. All we need is their address. We get that, and then we set up an appointment, and we go see them and tour the house and look at the things, show them our marketing plan, go through recommendations on what they need to do in order to sell the house for the most money, la, la, la. So either way, we're getting all this information, putting it in our CRM so that we know what to do. Because when you start having, okay, if you're doing 5 a day, let's say 5 a day, right? 5 times 4, that's 20 a week, times 4, that's 80 a month, times 12, that's 960 people per year that you need to remember all the stuff that you talk about each time. Okay, so if you had a really, really great memory, or like a, what do you call it? Photo, whatever kind of memory, photographic memory,
Graphic.
then maybe you could do that, but most people don't, and you're going to get overwhelmed after 20. So that's why the CRM is where you put in all your notes, so that, and then you make it automatic so that you don't have to think about it. You don't have to remember. You just work in your database every day, really. But the 3 or 4 or 5 days a week, where you're doing the lead generation activities, and then it's all automatic. You don't have to think about it. You can't mess it up because it's automated. It's systemized. And when you have things automated and systemized, then you are running a business, for one thing, and you take out all the opportunities to fail or not remember. Can you remember this time real quick? Let's edit it again. Hunter, I do a recorded Zoom call show right now. Please. Bathroom or the library or something. Thank you. Okay. All right. So we've talked about open houses, leads, what to do with them, getting the questionnaire done, putting all the information into your database, setting up a task, and then on the days that you do your follow-up, so like I said, schedule them. You can schedule them for all of your 4 days a week for the 3 hours that you follow up with people. And that way it's always the same time. You're gonna schedule 4, 5, 10, 20 people, on Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday to follow up with. And then you set your next task after you do follow up with them. Let's say you don't get a hold of them, which is 90% of the time. Then you say, this is what I do. This is what I teach people to do. I call first, and if I don't get them, I leave them a voicemail. Hey, Miss Forster, this is Shay Black with EXP, following up like we had planned on to find out about this, to see if you talked to Aaron Gordon, and looks like I missed you. No big deal. I'm going to send you a text message and an email just to follow up with you, and I'll talk. And then if I don't hear from you, I'll check in with you in the next day or two. Okay, so you hang up. Then you text them, say, hey, Miss Forster, or hey, Miss Donna, whatever it is. Shay Black here, just following up with you about how it went with Aaron Gordon. I'll send you an email to follow up as well. And if I don't hear from you, I'll follow up with you again in the next day or two. Okay, and then you do that, and then you email, right? Then after that, you set in the task in here, follow up with Donna 2 days from now, whatever sounds appropriate. And then 2 days from there, when I sit down and do my lead generation, it pops up, hey, Shay, you're supposed to follow up with Donna. Okay, great. So I give Donna a call. Ring, ring. And if she answers, then I'm like, hey, Donna, it's Shay. I mean, I told her what time I was going to follow up with her and everything. So she's expecting my call. We already agreed to follow up before, so we're just following up like we agreed to. And then if she doesn't answer, I do the same thing again. And then she'll text or call, or, oh, Shay, I'm sorry I missed you, or whatever, or they won't. And just the key to that is you follow up with them that way forever until they either tell you not to, or they take action. They buy or sell a house with you or whatever. So that's the thing. Most people will give up after 1 or 2 times. The data says, statistics say that people don't usually convert or answer the phone or do the next step until they've been touched 6 or 7 times. So you need to have 7 different tries at least. And I still wouldn't give up. That's just till they usually convert. So sometimes it's longer. So sometimes you got to go with 10 times, never hearing from anybody at all, to get them just to say, oh, hey, Shay, I'm sorry, I've just been so busy. But here's the real kicker, and why I've been so successful is I'll do it for 4 years. 4 years. And then somebody will be like, oh, Shay, I've been meaning to talk to you. Or they'll reach out to me. Like, it's funny, I've been following up with them for 4 years. And then all of a sudden I'll get a text or a call and like, hey, Shay, this is so-and-so. Do you remember me? We met at an open house, 4 years ago at blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, how's it going? I mean, I pull it up real quick and I look and I'm like, yes, I remember. I have all the notes here, so I do remember. You were going to a softball tournament with your daughter and you guys were you were just finishing up and you were coming back, and you said you wanted to do this and you wanted to move here and you want to live here. And I've been following up with you, but I just missed you, I guess, all that time. What's happening? Like, are you still wanting to look at a house in Del Mar or whatever? And she's like, yes, actually. Thank you so much for following up and blah, blah, blah. And boom, there you go. So, I mean, I couldn't tell you how many times that's happened after 2, 3, or 4 years. 4 years, I've had so much business from people that I met 4 years prior. So the key is there to continue to follow up. Like I said, forever. It's not because people are ignoring you. It's not because people don't like you. It's not because of any of that. It's just because they're busy. They're living life. We do it too. Like, I talk to somebody about some fancy gadget and whatever about real estate. And I say, yeah, let's talk about it sooner. Send me an email with more information. And then they follow up. And sometimes I just ignore them. I'm the jerk. I try really hard not to. I really do. I try to say, hey, now's not the right time, or hey, I looked at it and it's not in our budget for now, but please do follow up with me in 6 months. We'll see what's up from there. And then they call in 6 months, and then so follow up. So that's the key to But they say the fortune is the follow-up, is in the follow-up, which is super duper true. Now, every once in a while, I meet these people, we talk about it, we have a great time, all this stuff, and then down the road they just ignore, and then somebody will say, "Well, you're just too aggressive for me." I'm like, "Aggressive?" Like, because I followed up with you the way that we said we would, and then I haven't heard from you, so I just kept following up to hear from you. So they're like, "Yeah, that's too aggressive for me." I'm like, "It's not, I'm not being aggressive. I'm just doing what I promised to do. I'm a professional. This is what I do for a living. I help people, and that's it." So very rarely will that happen. I've had it happen a handful of times out of hundreds and hundreds, thousands of people I've talked to. Some people will just think that that's whatever, and that's okay. Those aren't the people that we're going to work with. The people we want to work with are the people that really appreciate somebody that's so professional and diligent and does what they say they're going to do. That's what professional people do. The people that don't answer their phone. They don't have an auto text that says, "Hey, I see that you called me. I'm just not available to talk right now because I'm with another client or I'm on a meeting or whatever it is, but I see it and I'll call you back." Okay. So people that don't respond immediately to people, that's not professional. They're not going to get the kind of business that I get. And I also follow up, communicate at a very, very, very high level. And that's why it's so easy for me to sell so much real estate in a short amount of time compared to other people. So just up your communication level, um, be disciplined in doing, it doesn't have to be a lot. Like I said, 3 days a week, 3 hours each time that you're for sure sitting down doing this is the minimum, and that's enough to have all the business in the world. Now, you're also going to have 1 or 2 open houses a week. You're also going to be previewing houses every afternoon and neighborhoods every day of the week. Well, 3 or 4 days, 5 days a week. Let's call it 4 days a week. And then you do an open house or 2 on the weekends, and you do this lead generation in the mornings. That's it. That's all you have to do. That's just minimum. Like, the schedule is not hard. And then whenever you do talk to people in between there, write it down, take notes, put it in your CRM that day, or very least the very next day before you forget it, and put them into this system. It's super duper easy. People just make it too complicated, and they just make it complicated. I don't know, or they just don't. So the discipline there is to have 3 hours a day, 4 days a week, let's say, to do these calls. So 3 hours a day, that's 12 hours a week, right? Let's say you go preview houses 2 hours a day. So we're at 12 so far, right? This is how much work you have to do to be a really, really top producing real estate agent in any city. So we got 12 hours lead gen. Let's say you do 2 hours of 2 hours of previewing and learning inventory. Let's say learning inventory. 4 days a week, that's 8, right? 8 hours. So now preview. And then now that's 20 hours. You're going to have an open house for, I like to do them for 4 hours, but let's just say you do 3. So you do 3 hours, open house on one time a week. Now you're working 23 hours a week. 23 hours a week to be the most top producing real estate agent in your city. Now, I suggest upping that just a little, but I mean, at minimum, that's all you got to do. But what real estate agents like to do is go out there and just be busy. You're so busy doing nothing. Taking training on classes that you don't need to take, getting certifications on certifications you don't need, to just kill time because you're too scared to do these things in the 23 hours that you're supposed to be doing a week. And it's not scary because none of that stuff is scary or weird. You're meeting, unless you don't like people and you don't like helping people, well, then this is not the job for you. So I get that. But if you do like that, and that is your goal, then go out there and meet the people and then follow up with them just like this and work your 23 hours a week and help people. And the more people you help, the more money you make, which means you get to help your family have the better life that you want them to have and continue to build from there so that you can have experiences that other people don't have. And seriously, I've never even broken it down that simply. But 23 hours a week, that's it. Now, I used to work even less than that. I used to work like 15 hours a week when I was top producing agent in my first year or two in Las Vegas. I always said it's about 15, but maybe I lied. Maybe it was 23, which is still pretty easy. And I went to the gym every day and I golfed at least 3 or 4 times a week. And I went out to eat and I had fun and I networked all the time because I just was doing 23 hours really strictly and specifically so that I have all that rest of time to do really fun stuff with my family and my people. But I've never really broken it down quite that simply, but that is it. It is really that easy. You could always add on to that. I would even, it depends on where you're at. If you're beginning, then you need to ramp all this stuff up a little bit more. But if you're in the groove, then this is easy. This is enough to sustain forever. Now, if you want bigger goals, you want to build a team, you want to do all that stuff, then you're going to start filling up your time with coaching, mentoring, and all that stuff, which is more of the things that I do rather than these specific things. But it's still similar. It's not hours and hours. It's not 60 hours a week. That was what I was going to say when I was, my first few years in real estate. I was number 5 in my producing Keller Williams office. And, there were people that have been there for 7, 10 years, however long, and they were working 60, 70 hours a week. They're the people that are out there like, being a real estate agent is really tough. You got to work 67 hours, 70 hours a week. And, they did no production. I did crazy production, 40, 50 houses a year, no problem, just doing this. And I was never in the office. I was there every once in a while, having fun, meeting people, helping people, all that stuff. But I wasn't there just to be there because I wanted to make money. I wanted to make impact and change people's lives. And it all breaks down to using your CRM and following up with people and having conversations with people. So we're going to go through a few other things. I've covered most of what we needed to cover here, but I'll give you a couple other lead sources that you can use because you're like, Shay, I don't have anybody in my database. Well, first of all, you should be having 2. Well, if they're new, you should be having 2. Honestly, you should be working out an open house every day of the week. So let's call that 4 days a week. But why not 5? Why not? But I would. Saturday and Sundays are going to be your best open house days. So make sure one of your days are on that. Those days that you're doing open houses are going to be targeting those. But then, work them all week long. I've done multiple times where I would work 14 days straight at an open house, But if you want to have a day off, which you should, that's fine. Even as a new agent, work 6 days a week at an open house. You can do all your prospecting. You can do this 23 hours worth of work, all from some stranger's house that's vacant. I don't suggest doing this at somebody's house where you have to displace them because they live there. But find a good vacant open house. Bring a partner. That's another thing, just so you know. I don't rarely have my whole life done open houses by myself. I have, and especially if it's like going to be a slow whatever. I still don't recommend it. But if you're doing it during the day, during the days aren't going to be maybe your gangbuster days, but sometimes they are during the day, during the week. But anyway, you're going to have quite a bit of downtime on ones, especially if they're old and whatever, which I love. Old houses that have been sitting on the market forever. I've had some of my busiest, most successful, most getting clients at houses that have already sold. Like they have pending or sold on the sign on the front, and I would still hold them open. People just don't want to hold open houses because they want to give excuses why they can't hold the house open. I just find good houses in a good neighborhood and keep calling people, agents, and say, hey, can I hold your house open? And like, I remember this one, and he's like, sure. He's like, I sold it and whatever. I'm like, he's like, but good for it. He's like, get some officers, get backup officers, get some clients that, that you can work with. Okay, great. I mean, I have videos at this one specific one in Carlsbad that was already sold. And I mean, it was person after person after person coming in. And they're like, is this house sold? I'm like, yeah, it sure is. But you know, super not uncommon for people for deals to go south and things change and them to fall out of contract. So, but it's also, less than 1% probable that you would buy this house at an open house anyway. Um, so I'm here to help you look at all the other houses that you would actually possibly buy. That's what I'm here for. I'm here to meet other people in the neighborhood and meet the community and get to know everyone. And then if you are interested in doing something else, I'll help you with that. But this one, just because it's off the market right now, doesn't mean it will be in 2 weeks. So anyway, it's just a way to build relationships. And they're like, okay, cool. I mean, I have this literally on video. Them asking me the questions like that, me answering them pretty much like that. And they're like, that makes sense. Mm-hmm. Like, if you think it's weird to hold the house open because it's already sold, you're the only one that thinks it. And if you tell people it's weird, like, yeah, I don't know why I'm doing it. I don't know why I'm holding this house open. It's sold, but whatever. And they're like, yeah, that is weird. Why are you doing it? But if you're like, well, that's why I'm doing it, and blah blah blah, and they're like, makes sense. Cool. You have a lot of energy. And you're like, you want to have a beer? I always like to have beer and wine at my open houses. Now check with your association. A lot of those don't like you to do that or have that. So use your discretion there. I like to have open house parties, so that's what we do. Other sources to get contacts from, your phone. You should have at least hundreds. I probably have 7,000 people in my phone, I bet you. I forget how you look. You know how to? I think if you go all the way to the bottom or something. Yeah, I have 4,237 contacts in my phone. And we were talking about how to get those, and I've done this so many times in the past. You just have to go through and learn it. So, like, mine's an iPhone. So you have to Google how to export contacts off of iPhone to a CSV format. And I think this particular one, you might go to iCloud, and then you need to. I think you can get everything in a V card format. So you'll get a Excel sheet type thing, spreadsheet full of V card information, and then you just need to convert that V card stuff to CSV file. Okay, I don't care if this, like, for people that are like, well, I'm not very, tech savvy or whatever, and that's fine. You don't have to be. I'm like okay at it, but I have to relearn everything that I do with this stuff because I don't keep it. I don't do this every day either. I just spend the time to figure it out and then do it, and then I forget it again later. So, just take. I don't care if it takes a week. This is a non-negotiable. Get your CRM full of people and get them off your phone. You're like, well, those are just my family members and my friends and stuff. Yeah, those are the people that you get to talk to first. And to set this up and to start using your CRM and practicing it and working in it. Because then you can sort them into different categories. Okay, this is my family people. These are my friend people. These are my work people. These are my whatever. And then as you go through, you can go through and say, hey, is this somebody I can talk to? What can I ask them about real estate? Or you can even call them and just say, hey, I'm practicing some scripts and stuff. Do you mind if I just go through this buyer questionnaire with you? And they're like, sure. It could be your cousin, it could be your parents, it could be your neighbor, it could be whatever. And just ask them if you can practice doing this. And they'll be like, yeah, everybody wants to help you that likes you. So then they're gonna answer the questionnaire, and maybe it might actually be something that works for them. You know what I mean? There's also a script, an open house script that basically will take them through 4 questions you start with that determines if they're going to be a future buyer or seller. And then there's follow-up questions from there that take you down the buyer path and the seller path. Well, that would be an amazing script to call and say, hey, you know what, I'm new in real estate and I love you. And I just wonder if you would take a couple minutes for me to just practice this script with you. It's just a kind of like a questionnaire thing. And we can be done in like 5 minutes or something. And we'll be like, sounds good. Sounds good, Shay. I like you. You're cool dude. I'm not really going to buy or sell anything, though. I'm like, oh, no, I'm not talking about that. Just when you help me practice. Yes, I'll help you practice. So you go through and then you have all the information of what they might do one day. So if they might be a seller one day, there's the questions are in there. What if you ever were to move, where would you move? And they're like, well, I'm not moving. Say, okay, cool. When might you move? If you were going to move ever. If you don't, you're just going to stay where you're at forever. That's great. But if you were to move, where would you move? And they're like, well, I always want to move to Florida. Okay. Oh yeah, why would you want to move to Florida? Well, my grandkids are there now, and that's what I move. Okay, great. So when would that ever happen? One make-believe day. Well, we probably plan to do that in 10 years. So the people said, well, we're not buying or selling or anything ever. They just told you in 10 years, they're moving to Florida to be closer to their grandkids. Okay? So that could be anybody. Now you just got a contact for your CRM for a seller in 10 years. Now, two things. First of all, people usually do whatever they say they're going to do in half the time. So chances are they're going to do that in 5 years. It depends. Some people are retiring on this day, and then that's how that works. Doesn't matter. Things change in their lives, so it might change at any time. So you just follow up with them accordingly. So let's say that in this example, this is your neighbor, Fred, down the way. It's never moving except in 10 years to Florida, whatever. Then you can just follow up twice a year or whatever and just say, hey, Fred, it's Shay again. After you've been doing this a while, so in 6 months or 3 months, 4 months, whatever. I'm just checking in with you. I know you said you never move or anything, but anyway, how are the kids in Florida? And have we been to see them? And what's new? What's happening? They're like, oh yeah, something. Okay, cool. Do you happen to know, anybody that's thinking about buying or selling or investing in real estate? Or have you thought about investing in real estate at all? Oh yes, no, whatever. So these are all just conversation starters. So the people in your phone count. The next spot, this is how you're going to get hundreds or even thousands of people into your database day one. Everybody's like, well, I don't have anybody. Well, this is what I did. So before we had phones that we could do this, is I took my Hotmail, I think, maybe it was even Yahoo Mail, all my contacts and learned how to transfer those into a CSV file. So I had about, I want to say 1,500 people my first week in my CRM that I started sorting and making into lists. And almost all of them, a huge majority of them, were in Marshalltown, Iowa, where I'm from, population 25,000 people, right? I lived in Las Vegas. I was selling real estate in Las Vegas, and I called these people and emailed these people to talk to them about real estate, to just to do it. Those are the people I had to talk to. Plus, I was doing open houses. It didn't take me long to get new people where I was there, but I kept the other people in my drip campaigns and everything, and I would touch base with them. And there are probably still people to this day in Marshalltown, Iowa, getting emails from me about real estate. And then not only that, but I've helped so many people in Marshalltown, Iowa, get plugged in with local realtors there. And then I get a commission, I get a referral for doing that. And whoever it is that reached out to me to ask me real estate questions in Iowa or Marshalltown, they also get me as a partner. They get me as a trusted agent on the deal. So maybe they don't know the other person that I refer them to enough to trust them the way they trust me. And so then if they have an issue with the person that they're talking to, they come to me and I'll shoot them straight, and or we all work together. You get two real estate agents for the price of one. So that is the benefit to these people that are not in your market or wherever you're at, but you know them and they trust and like you. You can help them. You can help them, and I've sold lots of real estate that way and made lots of money that way. It's not about making the money so much for me as it is helping people, but that's why I've made so much money, is because I go through and do all this stuff to help people, and I'll go to any length to make sure that I help them, and that I'm super professional, I'm super transparent, and super honest and ethical with everybody I work with, and they know that, they feel it. Like I tell them straight up, and they really appreciate that, and that's why I get so much business. So then the other thing you can do is buy leads. So if you got tons of money and you want to buy Facebook leads or Zillow leads or all that stuff, I mean, there's a bazillion things you can do to buy leads. and then a lot of these CRMs and platforms will have options where you can plug in some money to get leads that way. So if you want to supplement with that a little bit or play with it, you can. It's the same as anything else. And although they take way longer time to convert and you really have to be diligent. So if you're super duper disciplined in this and you want to talk to cold calling strangers that have, you know, offensive email addresses and fake names because they're, you know, they know they're not really talking to somebody. So, you know, you're a big idiot at gmail.com, like stuff like that. And then you can keep talking to them for years and years until they convert, you know. And those work. All of that works. There's no such thing as a good or a bad lead. Like I said, it boils down to having conversations with new people about real estate. That's it. And that's actually it for any business. It doesn't even have to be real estate. As long as you're having if you're in sales, as long as you're having conversations with people about whatever it is you're selling and you're putting yourself in front of business and also coming from contribution to see how you can help people have a better life, then you will be successful. You will help more people and you will have a better life yourself. So I think that's about it for all of that stuff. So I hope this was helpful. Bottom line is, follow these simple steps, work your 23 hours a week to be the most successful real estate agent in your area. I'm super open to helping anybody put together a plan to do this. This is what I do for a living. I help coach, mentor new agents, really experienced agents. I help people that want to build a team, go from just single, they're maxed out that way, and they want to use leverage to start building into a team. I have lots and lots of experience with that. I can help people structure and put the systems in place for that. And then there's also people that want to move and expand new teams, and that's where you start moving into different markets and building teams that way. I have lots of experience doing that. I coach people with that. And then our other platform for coaching is for people that have so much experience and knowledge and just really want to help other agents do better and sell more real estate. I have a coaching program, a coaches coaching program where we help people become a real estate coach, and not in a whatever kind of way, but in a way that is helpful to other people. So if your goal is to help other people do better and coach and mentor people, we have a really cool system and platform to introduce that's very nice and easy for people that want to help other people, other agents. So please contact us for any of this information. We will share every bit of what we have all the time. Doesn't matter what brokerage you're in, doesn't matter how long you've been doing it, all this stuff, we're here to help you. And thanks so much for coming to our show today on CRM, lead generation, lead conversion, and follow-up. See you next. Every Tuesday, we have our Sharpen the Saw episodes, 11 a.m. CST. That's today. I'm sorry, did I say that right? It is 11 a.m., is it?
Yes.
11 a.m. CST. Then we have on Thursdays at 11 a.m. CST, Central Standard Time, we have our weekly National Real Estate News Zoom podcast, where we talk about more like data, the markets in different places, the markets that I'm in, the markets that I'm not in, national markets, data and general rates, economy, all that kind of stuff. So more technical data type stuff on those days. So we hope to see you on the next one. And thanks for joining us. Have a great day.
Thanks, everyone. Also, if you are interested in the buyer's questionnaire, that is in the chat.
Good deal. And you can always just reach out to us in any other way too if you can't access the chat for some reason, and we'll share that with you. I think it's called the Black Owl Buyers Questionnaire, maybe, or whatever it is. And you can fully rip that off and just put your name on it like you wrote it and you made it up and use it all the time. That's what I hope you do. Have a great day, everyone.